Hi, I am Dr. Selvaraj, your surgical educator from Malaysia. Welcome back to my series of surgical teaching videocasts. These are meant mainly for undergraduate medical students doing the surgical clerkship rotation. I promise you will become competent in clinical problem solving and surgical decision making if you are going to watch these videos over and over again. So in this episode today, I am going to talk about the various tumor markers which are very useful to surgeons to follow up the cases after surgery. So these are the importance of tumor markers. I am going to discuss about what is the definition, what are these tumor markers, and what are their application in the clinical practice, and how they are helpful for the surgeons, especially during the follow-up or during the surveillance. That is what I am going to discuss, and I am going to show you a tabular column of the various common tumor markers which we are using to to follow up the cases after doing surgery. Especially it is very useful for all surgeons. That's what I am going to discuss. So I am going to discuss the definition and introduction. So after watching this video, all of you should be able to understand what is the definition and of the tumor marker, what are the applications of these tumor markers in our clinical practice, and what are the different tumor markers, their clinical importance and the normal values. So all these things you must know. So what is tumor marker? It is a biomarker found in blood, urine or even fecal matter or body tissues also that may be elevated because of one or more types of cancer. Tumor markers are, majority of them are usually proteins. Increasingly, however, genomic markers such as tumor gene mutations are being used as tumor markers nowadays. Some are associated with only one type of cancer, whereas many of them are associated with multiple different cancer types. Okay, it is increased not only in a particular cancer, one particular tumor marker may be elevated in many cancers. Yeah, this hasn't got any diagnostic significance. That means just because a tumor marker is elevated, you cannot make a diagnosis of okay a particular cancer. If you this you can use as, suppose if it is elevated, then you have to confirm the diagnosis by doing a biopsy and other imaging studies. But the main usage at present for these tumor markers is you can use it post-operatively to pick up early recurrence and the residual tumor, whether you have done an adequate job of removing the whole the tumor, or whether you have left behind any residual tumor, that also you can pick up by doing the tumor marker study. So what are the applications of these tumor markers? For diagnosis, I told you, for diagnosis it is not helpful. It is okay, it may indicate probably your patient is having that particular cancer, then you have to confirm by doing a biopsy and other imaging studies. So it hasn't got any diagnostic value, but it may be an indication. You have to do other workup to confirm the diagnosis. For screening purpose, this is what I told you, but so far only one tumor marker has been used successfully as a screening agent, that is PSA, but that also it is also elevated in non-malignant condition like benign prostatic hyperplasia. So as a screening agent you cannot use. Maybe it may indicate, because there is a lot of false positive or cases are will be there, and so it is not that much helpful for screening. Prognosis, okay, you can assess the aggressiveness of the tumor by doing these tumor markers. the most important use of these tumor markers is monitoring the patient during the post-operative period. So the follow-up, during the follow-up, whether the tumor is regression of the tumor or progression, whether it is increasing, that you can make out by doing this tumor markers. So you can evaluate the response to the treatment. Yeah, response to the treatment. If it is successful, okay, the value of tumor marker will be very low. So after post-operative period, initially it is normal, but all of a sudden, if the patient is having a surge or increase in a particular tumor marker, then that means the patient has got recurrence somewhere in the body, and we have to do the workup and we have to find out where that recurrence has occurred. And yeah, that is the detection of the recurrence. That is the most important thing. Another thing is after surgery, whether you have, if you have adequately, suppose for example, Wilms tumor. So after surgery, if you have left behind some amount of the tumor, or for that matter, Siebrus, if you have left behind some amount of the tumor in the body, then also this tumor marker will be increased. So determination of the risk factors in genetically predisposed individuals, okay, if they are having a family history, then you can do tumor markers to pick up it in early stages. Okay, now I am going to talk about particular tumor markers, and this I am going to talk in alphabetical order. So the first column is the name of the tumor marker. The second column is the cancer associated with elevated results. If it is increase, then what are the cancer? Non-cancerous reason for the elevated levels. Even non-cancerous, what are the other causes for elevation of this particular tumor marker? And what is the normal value? That is the fourth column. So to begin with, okay, alpha fetoprotein. So it is elevated. The germ cell cancers of both ovarian and testis, especially non-seminomatous tumor, particularly embryonal and yolk sac tumors, and testicular cancers. Some primary liver cancer, that is hepatocellular carcinoma also, the AFP is increased. So in which non-cancerous condition this AFP is elevated? Pregnancy, normal pregnancy, okay, after birth it clears, it will come down. So during pregnancy AFP will be elevated. Liver diseases, non-malignant diseases like hepatitis, cirrhosis, toxic liver injury, and inflammatory bowel disease. These are the different causes for, the non-cancerous cause for elevated AFP. So normal value, what is the normal value? The low levels present in both men and non-pregnant women. So usually it is 0 to 15 international unit per ml. Generally results if it is more than 400, okay, this is abnormal. The half-life is only 4 to 6 days. Okay, the next tumor marker is Bence-Jones protein or monoclonal immunoglobulins. Okay, this is blood test. AFP also blood. This is also blood test. So this is elevated in multiple myeloma, Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia, and chronic lymphocytic leukemia. So these are the malignant causes for elevation of Bence-Jones protein. So the non-malignant cause is amyloidosis. Generally a value of 0.03 to 0.05 milligram per ml is significant for early disease regarding the Bence-Jones protein. So now the third one is B2M or beta 2 microglobulin. So this is elevated in number 1, multiple myeloma, chronic lymphocytic leukemia CLL, and some lymphomas including Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia. So these are the cancerous or carcinoma causes This is the non-cancerous causes or kidney disease and hepatitis. Also, this B2M will be elevated. And the normal value is always less than 2.5 milligram per liter. If it is more than that, that means it is elevated. The next tumor marker is BTA. This is bladder tumor antigen, but this is not, you have to look it in, not in the blood, but this is a urine test, BTA, bladder tumor antigen. So it is elevated in bladder cancer, cancer of the kidney, or ureters. Okay. In which non-cancerous condition BTA is increased? Invasive procedures or infection of the bladder or urinary tract. In all these non-cancerous condition also, this will be elevated. So this tumor marker is not specific for only for these cancers. Normally this is not detected. Even if you see trace in the urine, that means it is abnormal. The next tumor marker is CA15-3, that is cancer antigen 15-3 or carbohydrate antigen 15-3. So it is elevated in breast carcinoma and in early stages of breast carcinoma, lung carcinoma, ovarian carcinoma, endometrial carcinoma, bladder carcinoma, and any GI carcinomas. So it is not specific only for breast carcinoma. The non-cancerous condition in which this is the CA15-3 is elevated are liver diseases like cirrhosis, hepatitis, lupus, sarcoid, tuberculosis, and non-cancerous benign breast lesions. Okay, what is the normal unit? 31 unit per ml. 30% of patients have an elevated CA15-3 for 30 to 90 days. Even after treatment, it will be elevated. So you have to wait 2 to 3 months after starting the new treatment, then only you have to check. So you have to wait for 2 to 3 months. Don't do this immediately. It won't, drop down. That you have to remember. The next tumor marker is CA19-9. This is carbohydrate antigen 19-9. This is elevated in pancreatic and colorectal cancer, liver cancer, stomach cancer, and biliary tract cancers. So the non-cancerous causes are pancreatitis, ulcerative colitis, inflammatory bowel disease, inflammation or blockage of the bile duct, thyroid disease, and rheumatic arthritis. So the normal value is always less than 37 units per ml. If it is more than 120 units per ml, generally this is by the tumor. The next tumor marker is CA125 or CA125. This is the carbohydrate antigen 125. This is elevated in ovarian cancer, breast cancer, colorectal cancer, uterine cancer, cervical cancer, pancreatic cancer, liver and lung cancers also. So it is not also specific only to ovarian cancer. It is elevated in so many cancers. What are the non-cancerous conditions in which the CA125 is elevated? Pregnancy, menstruation, endometriosis, ovarian cysts, fibroids, pelvic inflammatory disease, pancreatitis, cirrhosis, hepatitis, peritonitis, pleural effusion, following surgery or any paracentesis. That is the peritoneal paracentesis. See, it is not specific only to ovarian cancer. It is elevated in so many non-cancerous condition also. The normal value is 0.35 unit per ml. The next tumor marker is CA27.29. So this is elevated in breast cancer. This is best used to detect recurrence or the metastasis. It is also elevated in colon cancer, gastric, liver and lung cancer, pancreatic, ovarian and prostate cancer also. So this is also not specific. It is also elevated in non-cancerous conditions like ovarian cysts, liver and kidney disorders, non-cancerous benign breast problems. So the normal value is always less than 40 units per ml generally. If levels are more than 100 units, that is signify the cancer. 30% of the patients have elevated CA 27.29 for 30 to 90 days after treatment. That means after the surgery, okay, this will be elevated for at least 30 to 90 days. So, so wait for 2 to 3 months after, starting the new treatment, then only you have to check. You have to wait for this period, 2 to 3 months. Then only you have to check the level. Okay. Now the next, the tumor marker is calcitonin. So this is elevated only in medullary thyroid cancer. That is very good. It is specific. It is also elevated in non-cancerous conditions like chronic renal insufficiency, chronic use of proton pump inhibitors, medication given to reduce the acid in the stomach. So the PPI. So in this usage also the calcitonin will be elevated. The normal value is always less than 8.5 picograms per ml for men. It is less than less than 5 picograms per ml for women. This is the normal value. So the next tumor marker is CEA or carcinoembryonic antigen. This is elevated in colorectal cancer, breast, lung and gastric cancer, pancreatic, bladder, kidney, thyroid cancer, head and neck cancer, cervical, ovarian cancer, liver cancer, lymphoma and melanoma. So elevated in so many cancers, CEA. But usually we are using it for colorectal carcinoma. The non-cancerous condition in which CEA will be elevated, or even the normal cigarette smoking will cause increase in CEA level. And other causes are pancreatitis, hepatitis, inflammatory bowel disease, peptic ulcer disease, hypothyroidism, cirrhosis, COPD, and even any biliary obstruction can cause increased CEA. So what is the normal level? Usually it is less than 2.5 nanogram per ml in non-smokers. It should be less than 5 nanogram per ml in smokers. Generally, if it is more than 100, that signifies the patient is having metastatic cancer. So the next tumor marker is chromogranin A. So this is a tumor marker for neuroendocrine tumors, carcinoid tumors, neuroblastoma and small cell lung cancer. The non-cancerous conditions are proton pump inhibitor. Yeah, that is the only non-cancerous condition. In that also this tumor marker will be increased. What is the normal value? The normal value varies on how it is tested, but usually it is less than 39 nanogram per liter. That is below this it is normal. If it is more than that, okay, it is abnormal. The next tumor marker is cytokeratin fragment 21-1. So this is also blood test. So this is positive in lung and any urological cancer, gastrointestinal and gynecological cancers. So this is also not specific. The non-cancerous condition are any lung diseases. So the normal value is usually 0.05 to 2.90 nanogram per ml. The next tumor marker is HCG or human chorionic gonadotropin, or this is also known as beta HCG. So this is elevated in germ cell tumor, the testicular tumor, gestational trophoblastic neoplasm. The non-cancerous conditions are pregnancy, marijuana use, that is ganja, marijuana use, and then hypogonadism, that is the testicular failure, cirrhosis, inflammatory bowel disease, and the duodenal ulcer. These are non-cancerous conditions. In man, the normal value is less than 2.5 units per ml. In non-pregnant women, this should be less than 5 units per ml. So that is but all these things are not specific to one tumor alone, I mean one cancer alone. So the next tumor marker is 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid. Yeah, 24-hour, this is urine test. You have to test this in the, you have to correct 24-hour urine, and then you have to test this 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid in the urine. So this is elevated in carcinoid tumors. Okay, non-cancerous conditions, so many are there. Celiac and tropical sprue, Whipple's disease, those who are consuming walnuts, pecans, banana, avocados, eggplant, pineapple, plums and tomatoes. Medications, those who are taking acetaminophen, aspirin and guaifenesin. So many conditions, this 5-hydroxyindole acetic acid may be elevated, but the cancerous condition is only carcinoid tumor. The normal value is 6 to 10 milligram over 24 hours, because this you have to see in the urine. So in 24 hours urine, this should be within 6 to 10 milligram. If it is more than that, that means it is positive. The next tumor marker is LDH or lactic dehydrogenase. This is elevated in lymphoma, melanoma, acute leukemias, and seminoma, that is germ cell tumor. This is also elevated in some non-cancerous conditions like hepatitis, MI, that is myocardial infarction, stroke, anemia, both pernicious and thalassemia, muscular dystrophy, certain medications like narcotics, aspirin, some anesthetic and alcohol, and any muscular injury. So the normal value is 100 to 333 units per liter. The next tumor marker is NSE or neuron specific enolase. So this is elevated in small cell lung cancer and neuroblastoma. In non-cancerous conditions like proton pump inhibitor treatment, hemolytic anemia, hepatic failure, end-stage renal disease, brain injury, seizure and stroke. All these are non-cancerous conditions in which the NSE will be elevated. The normal value is always less than 9 microgram per liter. The next, the tumor marker is NMP22. Yeah, this you have to test in the urine. This is positive in bladder cancer. So, but this is also positive in BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia, and prostatitis also. The normal value is less than 10 units per ml. The next, the tumor marker is PAP. This is prostatic acid phosphatase. So it is elevated in metastatic prostate cancer, myeloma, that is multiple myeloma, lung cancer, and osteogenic sarcoma. The non-cancerous conditions are prostatitis, Gaucher's disease, osteoporosis, cirrhosis, hyperparathyroidism, and prostatic hypertrophy. These are all non-cancerous conditions. The normal value is 0.5 to 1.9 unit per liter. The next tumor marker is PSA or prostate specific antigen. This is elevated in prostate cancer, but this is also elevated in non-cancerous conditions like BPH, that is benign prostatic hyperplasia, nodular prostatic hyperplasia, prostatitis, prostate trauma, and any problem in ejaculation also, the PSA will be elevated. The normal level is less than 4 nanogram per ml. The half-life is 2 to 3 days. The next tumor marker is thyroglobulin. This is elevated in thyroid, in all thyroid cancers. So it is also elevated anti-thyroglobulin antibodies, non-cancerous condition. If it is there, okay, the thyroglobulin will be elevated. The normal value is less than 33 nanogram per liter if entire thyroid is removed. Otherwise, if part of the thyroid is there already, then it should be less than 2 nanogram per ml. The next, the tumor marker is the urine catecholamines, that is VMA or vanillyl mandelic acid. You have to collect here also the 24-hour collection of urine, and you have to test the VMA in 24 hours collection of the urine. This is elevated in neuroblastoma, pheochromocytoma, ganglioneuroma, rhabdomyosarcoma, and PNET. So it is also elevated in non-cancerous conditions like dietary intake of banana, vanilla, tea, coffee, ice cream, and chocolate. Medications like tetracycline, methyl dopa, and MOIs. The normal value is 8 to 35 millimoles in 24 hours urine collection. The next tumor marker is HVA or homovalinic acid. Homovalinic acid. This is vanillyl mandelic acid. This is homovalinic acid. Here also, okay, the 24-hour collection of the urine, it is catecholamine metabolism. This is also the same thing like here. So this is elevated in neuroblastoma only. So it is non-cancerous condition, same like the VMA. In addition, it is also elevated in psychosis, major depression, and dopamine if the patient is taking as a medication dopamine. Okay, in that thing also, okay, the HbA is elevated. So the normal level is up to 40 millimoles over 24 hours urine collection. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you think that these videos are very useful, kindly subscribe to this channel and share these videos in your social media. Thank you once again for watching this video. Let us meet in yet another video. Until then, bye bye.